Okay, so there's a new French law or law, whatever it is. I believe it was. I think it's like on the president's desk sort of situation. Um, French bill banning images of police sparks concern over media freedom and civil rights. So, this is something. Now, again, I'm not a scholar. I don't know everything. I could be, misinformed. I could be, there's a lot. I don't have a large prerequisite information on France's history with this kind of stuff. So I'm just kind of reading here. And so if you're from France, if you have a better understanding of this, feel free to let me know. Um, and there you go. So, France's parliament voted to approve a controversial law Friday that will ban the publication of images of on duty police officers as well as expand the use of surveillance drones and police powers. Now, if you don't know France, France is a heavily anti police state, right? The people in France do not like the cops. There's all these very awesome videos of. I remember seeing this video of French protesters like rolling like a smart car. Like it was like one of those two-seater smart cars. They were like literally like rolling it in the street as shield for like tear gas and water cannons. That was something, and the car was like on fire too. I'll have to look for that video because it was so good. So like the car was like on its side, right? And then these motherfuckers were like using it as a shield. They were pushing it toward the line of riot cops. And just like imagine you're a riot cop and then a car just like comes. Like, I don't know, man. The French are really anti-police. Look up some of the yellow vest stuff. It's very good content, absolutely. Um, and so the French government is like, whoa, buddy, that's a little too much for us, right? Okay, so in surveillance drones and police powers, journalist groups, human rights activists, and unions, including Reporters Without Borders and Amnesty International's French branch, organized protests in Paris and other French cities on Saturday. Article 24 of France's new security bill would make it a criminal offense for anyone to disseminate images that might harm the physical or mental integrity of police officers. People found guilty could be punished by a year in prison or a fine of 45,000 euros. Like, that is like, this isn't like small pickings. This isn't like, a fine of like $100, don't do that again, slap on the wrist. This is like a serious fucking deal. Critics of the bill say it threatens to make it makes it more difficult for journalists and others to report on police brutality or other infractions, with journalist groups, human rights activists, and union organizing on the protests in the French cities. So, there's a lot of quotes here. I'm just going to read to you the ones that I've prepared already. The ones that I approve of, right? The bill will not jeopardize in any way the rights of journalists or ordinary citizens to inform the public, Throughout told French daily Le Figaro, adding that it only outlaws any calls for violence or reprisals against police officers on social media. So if you say like fuck cops or ACAB or something, 45,000 euros, poorer. In response to claims that Article 24 would have unintended consequences on press freedom, the government added an amendment ahead of Friday's vote specifying that the clause will not be an obstacle to the right to inform the public. Now again, what does that mean? What does that mean? Will not be an obstacle to the right. That doesn't mean anything. That's just like, oh, well, it might make them happy. It doesn't mean anything. There's no statutes there. There's nothing outlined. It's just like, oh, well, vague. Like it's just a bunch of bullshit. The offense outlined by the text will only target the dissemination of images clearly aimed at harming a police officer's or soldier's physical or psychological integrity. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. All a cop needs to do is, oh, I'm so upset and offended, and boom, 45,000 euros a year in prison. That doesn't mean anything. That amendment is useless. You might as well have nothing. You might as well have an amendment that says pee pee poo poo. Like it's the same shit, right? Activists have alleged that police brutality was responsible for the killing of Adama Traore, I'm so sorry, please, a Frenchman of Malian origin, who died after his arrest in the Paris suburbs in 2016. An autopsy commissioned by his family said that he died of asphyxiation. Interesting. Where have you heard that before? The official health report said he died of heart failure. Interesting. Maybe he had a little bit of fentanyl in his system, right? Maybe he just happenstance, had an overdose, It wasn't that we were choking this guy to death. No, 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 no. It just so happens that he was having an overdose as our arms were wrapped around his neck, and as he couldn't breathe, just happened to have an overdose at that time. Very convenient, very coincidental, clearing 3 police officers of responsibility in June. Several instances of alleged police violence were revealed by videos broadcast on social media. Cedric Chauviet, a delivery driver in Paris, suffered a heart attack and died in January after police put him in a chokehold. Well, clearly he was overdosing. Clearly. It wasn't, clearly. Duh. Nothing the police did there was of any consequence. No shit. But this is what they want you to believe. Several Yellow Vest protesters were bludgeoned inside a Burger King in Paris in December 2018. Images of both incidents originally surfaced on social media, prompting public outrage. A freedom-killing law? Annie Sophie Simperi, an activist for Amnesty International France, said the amendment is not enough and that the government should withdraw Article 24 in its totality. It is a freedom-killing law that would threaten freedom of expression, the right to demonstrate, and the right to privacy, she said. And again, you can read the rest of the article yourself. But France is a country that is heavily anti-police, and the government is really trying to crack down on that, so no good. No good. I really have to say that that's very bad. And it really is so problematic because, again, the amendment doesn't mean anything. Like, if someone posts a video, like, of a selfie, it's like, hey, like, blah, 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 and then, like, a cop is, like, clearly, like, their face is clearly visible in the background, and they post their selfie on Instagram, they could theoretically be liable for a 45,000 euro fine. Like, all the officer needs to do is say, well, my face was used in that picture. My face is out there. I don't want people to know that I was there. I don't, that was psychologically damaging me. Boom, year in prison. Like, again, this is not good. This is very bad. This is very bad. And so definitely stay in attention to the French protests, and I will try to do so if there are more demonstrations that are going to be taking place. But they're definitely going to try to crack down. If you think that this isn't a blueprint for other states that like France is a state that loves to say, oh, we're free, we're an enlightened society. Yes, we're enlightened. We are above it all here in France. No, 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 right? But you're definitely gonna see this in other, like, purportedly freedom-centric places. So, there you go. Not good. Not good.